It's June 2nd, and that means it's weekend 2 of Ladybug's dog packing summer. How you doing today, Ladybug? I think she might have a little heartburn because yesterday I was working in the garden and she got into some radishes. Yeah, I'm not too concerned. She kind of has a cast iron stomach. One time at Point Isabel, she ate mussels. It was low tide. Ate mussels, shells and everything, and then somebody said, "Oh, I have my cell phone. You want to call your vet?" And I said, "You know, I don't think so. I'm not sure this is the weirdest thing she's ever eaten." So yesterday we took Ladybug to Tilden Park, and I had to have her on leash for some of this hike. I was a little bit concerned about that because I trained Ladybug to walk on a martingale leash, or a martingale harness, which is this kind of harness that has a hook in the front. You hook the leash on the front of it, and it's to prevent the dog from pulling, because when she pulls on the leash it kind of turns her around, and then she's looking at you and she says, "Oh, what just happened? You know, I'm trying to pull us in this direction." People think you can train your dog not to pull by using this. This is a 25-foot retractable leash. I don't even know how the damn thing works, but it pulls out to 25 feet. This does not teach your dog not to pull. This teaches your dog to pull from 25 feet away. Now, Ladybug's dog pack has a spot where you hook the leash too, but it's not in front here. It's here, around where her shoulder blades are. Okay, Ladybug, you want to go sleep off your radishes now? Is that what you want to do? Okay. No, she wants to stay here. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is, if your dog is a puller, this thing isn't really going to correct the problem. The way the leash hook is placed is not really going to help you correct the problem of pulling. So if you want to walk your dog on a leash and a dog pack, I don't know, you probably want to break the dog of pulling first, or else put a martingale harness underneath the dog pack. Ladybug didn't pull too much. She's pretty good at walking on leash. Oh yeah, remember the bird from last time? The big bird, and my cameraman kept taking pictures of the bird. I had to wait with the dog while they say it was a great blue heron. I looked it up, and it's a good thing he took all those pictures, because I was trying to ID the bird, and it said in my bird book, well, the great blue heron flies with his neck in this S shape. So I looked at the picture, and yeah, sure enough, there it was, flying with his neck in the S shape. And so I was able to ID the bird thanks to my cameraman taking all those pictures while I waited there with my dog. Yeah, so this time he had to take a picture of a Cooper's hawk eating a gopher. I said, "Dude, people don't want to see this. That gopher is still twitching." Yeah, so I tend to be pretty sympathetic towards people who are afraid of dogs, and people say, "Oh, why would anybody be afraid of your dog? You know, she's such a sweet little goof, has funny ears and everything, and oh, nobody would be afraid of your dog." Well, you know, people are afraid of funny things. My mom used to tell me this story about how she went to the World's Fair on Treasure Island in 1939. She was a little girl. She was 5 years old, and she said she felt a tap on her shoulder, and she turned around, and there was Mr. Peanut, you know, with the monocle and the top hat, gloves and everything, and she completely freaked out. And so all the time I was growing up, if you ever had Planters peanuts in the house, you had to peel the label off the jar. And if you forgot, my mom would open the cupboard, she'd go, "Oh boy, it's the Peanut Man!" and completely freak out. And there was a big Planters peanut sign by the freeway, and anytime my mom drove past that sign, she'd have to drive like this, just, you know. You know, a lot of people have issues with clowns. How do you feel about clowns, Ladybug? I don't think she'd like clowns. Yeah, you know, I've been on a lot of early morning hikes with my cameraman, and he's not a real morning person, and it's hard to get him out the door on schedule. And I always tell him, you know, just sleep in your clothes, and that way, you know, you can just roll out of bed and get in the car. And so it never fails, you know, I'll get to his house and I'll call him up, and he wakes up, and then he comes to the door, and then, well, let's just say it's obvious he hasn't been sleeping in his clothes. So I don't know, maybe we should try nude backpacking. Does YouTube have a policy about that? I don't know. So I'll show you what I had in Ladybug's dog pack this time. I had one of these on either side, dish towels. I just put them in there just so she could get used to carrying some weight. And she did really well. didn't seem to slow her down. She didn't have a problem with it. She did all the usual crazy dog stuff, running around and chewing on sticks and sniffing and finding bunnies and stuff like that. So she seemed to have a really good time, aside from, you know, sitting around waiting for my cameraman to get ready. So I think the next step for us is go on a hike next weekend and carry some real stuff in the dog pack. Some real equipment, or maybe some food. Not radishes. People say if gay people get married, well, that means you can marry your dog. I always think, what do you care if I marry my dog? Let me skin off your ass.